Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden technology that powers the smartest AI you use every single day. We're talking about everything from the chatbot that just gets you to the streaming service that knows what movie you want to watch next. It's all thanks to something called a vector database, and it's teaching computers to think a lot less like a machine and a whole lot more like us.
So let's just start with a big question right up front. When you ask an AI something, or you're searching for a video online, how does it seem to just understand you? How does it figure out the context and what you actually mean, instead of just the literal words you typed?
I mean, you see this kind of thing in action all the time. Think about your favorite streaming service. It somehow knows you're going to love some obscure movie, even if it has none of the same actors or directors as your other favorites. It understands the vibe.
Or what about search engines? They're getting so much smarter. You can type in smartphone, and you'll get results for cell phone or mobile devices. It's not just matching keywords anymore. It's finding what you're actually looking for.
And of course, there are those incredibly helpful chatbots that can hold a real conversation and answer your questions using natural language. Now, all of this can feel a little bit like magic, but it's not. It's actually powered by a really brilliant piece of engineering.
The secret sauce behind all of this is a totally revolutionary new kind of database. It doesn't work like the ones we're used to, with all those rigid rows and columns. Nope, this one thinks in a way that's much more, well, human.
Okay, so let's break this down. On the left, you've got your traditional databases. They're perfect for neatly organized, structured data, like a spreadsheet. They search for exact matches. But on the right, that's where vector databases come in. They're built for all the messy, unstructured stuff. Text, images, audio, and they search for similarity, for things that are conceptually related.
And the need for this is absolutely exploding. The amount of unstructured data in the world, we're talking all those social media posts, videos, and pictures, is growing by up to 60% every single year. Your classic database just can't keep up with that.
So, how in the world does this new kind of database actually work? Well, it all comes down to teaching AI to speak a brand new language, the language of vectors. Let's dig into how it learns to think in numbers.
Everything starts with the most basic building block, a scalar. Don't let the fancy name fool you. It's really just a single number representing one piece of info. So, for example, the number 85 could be the high temperature for the day. Simple enough, right?
Now, you take a bunch of those scalars and you group them together in a list, and voila, you have a vector. It's just a way of describing something more complex. So in our weather example, this vector could represent the low, the average, and the high temperature for the day. Each number is just another feature, another dimension of that day's weather.
And this brings us to the most important part, where the real magic happens. It's a process called vector embedding. This is the crucial step where we convert complex things from our world, like words, photos, even entire songs, into these numerical vectors. It's literally how we translate human experience into a language that an AI can finally understand.
So check out how this works in practice. An AI model learns to give every single word its own unique vector. But here's the genius part. Look at the numbers for cat and dog. They're pretty similar, right? Well, in the AI's mind, that mathematical closeness means these two concepts are related. It understands that cats and dogs are similar kinds of things just because their numbers are neighbors. How cool is that?
Okay, so let's see how all this builds up into a crazy, powerful new way to search for things. We're not just looking for keywords anymore. We're searching for meaning, for context. Basically, we're searching by vibe. Here's the difference in a nutshell. A traditional search for the word smartphone is only going to find things with that exact word. But a vector search, it understands the concept of a smartphone. So it gives you results with similar meanings, like cell phone or mobile devices. It's a massive leap forward.
And the process itself is beautifully simple. First, you make your query. You might type a question or search for an image. Next, that query gets converted into its own unique vector. Then the database zips through its memory, and using some super fast math, it finds all the stored vectors that are closest to your query vector. And finally, it serves up those closest matches as your results.
Now, I really want to stress this point. This isn't just some niche, nerdy technology. Vector databases are quickly becoming a fundamental, absolutely essential part of the modern AI infrastructure. This is a real game changer.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The numbers are pretty staggering. Gartner predicts that by 2026, which is just around the corner, more than a third of all big companies will be using vector databases to power their AI. That adoption rate is just incredible.
And it's really easy to see why everyone's jumping on board.
They offer incredible speed and performance. They can scale up to handle billions of data points. They're often cheaper to run, and most importantly, they are built from the ground up for the kind of flexible, messy data that defines our world today.
One of the most powerful uses for this is a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or just RAG for short. This lets a big AI model, like a chatbot, reach into a trusted vector database to pull out real-time facts. This is huge because it grounds the AI's answers in reality, making them way more accurate and helping to prevent those weird hallucinations where the AI just makes stuff up.
And this technology is the engine behind so much more, from those smarter virtual agents we talked about, to recommendation engines, to searching for a song that just feels like another one you love. Vector databases are driving so many of the most advanced AI features that we use every day.
And all this brings us to one final, bigger thought to leave you with. As our world and our data get more and more complex, are we moving into an era where finding things that are conceptually similar is actually more valuable than finding a single, certain answer? It's a fascinating question, and it's one that vector databases are really forcing all of us to ask.